So today we have a shorter Nam Academy. I know I've said that before, but today's going to be about actually how do you utilize the content of Nam Academy. So this is very important. So by now we have like 100 and I don't know 20 plus videos, and they are somewhat long. Some of them are shorter. Some of them are tools. Some of them are skills. Some of them are concepts. Many of them are concepts. How to think. When I initially started Nam Academy, I thought it would be, just have a couple of videos, basics. But then once you start talking about recovery, you realize that there's a lot to recovery. There's a lot of facets. ਕਈ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ recovery ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, and so we need to understand how do you use really any kind of content that's deep and a lot and overwhelming. Because all sources of recovery information are deep and a lot and are overwhelming. So how do we work with that in the context of self-therapy? I just wanted to talk about that today. So today is like how to use Nam Academy. So that's the question. And the main way that we have to use Nam Academy. There's a great video on what we call block. So everything in our program is based on this concept of block-based healing. Block-based healing. Block-based healing is there's videos on blocks and in earlier videos. Blocks are the invisible things. So if you are here and you want to get to the goalpost, smiley face, and you want to get there, and that's good, te pahunchna chaਹੁੰਦੇ हैं, but something stops you. You don't know exactly what it is. Sometimes you think you know what it is, but that's not what it is. But there's a block, and you can't see it, but you try to walk in the right direction, and you get lost, you can't move, you're paralyzed, you go backwards, you do everything but go to the goal. So what we call that invisible entity as we call it a block. That invisible entity is called a block. Something is blocking you. Mental blocks, physical blocks. If someone's beating you up, that's like a physical, or you're in jail and you want to go to a AA meeting out in the community, you're blocked by the criminal justice system. So blocks can be mental, social, spiritual, and of course physical. So the nature of blocks is that they can be any of these things. Typically they all flow forward. Most blocks flow forward from mental. From mental you get to social, and from social usually you get these physical manifestations. But the original blocks that are really, really important are things like I'm here and I don't belong here. That's called the spiritual block. I don't belong. I'm not part of anything. That's a spiritual block. I'm disconnected. Okay, these deep-seated beliefs that you may never have even heard until I say it like that. It's like, yeah, I feel that. These are all blocks. And at NAM, we're very interested in blocks. And I suggest as people in recovery, you become very interested in your blocks. Not frustrated, but actually happy. When you discover a block, you should be like a treasure hunter. Yeah! Most people, if you're doing that, if you're happy, when you discover a block, you're in good shape. If you're scared of blocks, if you go, la 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 la, I'm fine, I don't want any blocks. you will continue to stay sick and you will get sicker. Blocks breed more blocks. And so, Nam, the thing about these blocks is they may be preventing you from getting to this goal. In your mind, you can see that. But what you don't realize is they're preventing you from getting to this goal too. And this one. Yeah. And this one. And this one. You only see them preventing this thing, but actually that same block is preventing you from millions of other things. So we like blocks because, and that's the treasure. You dissolve this block, you not only get this one, you get this one, and you get this one, and you get this one. That's why you become excited about blocks. Nam Academy is a series of content that is sometimes triggering. Sometimes I push buttons. Lots of times I push buttons. I say provocative things that will trigger you. And so triggers are a signpost to where further healing is needed. Signpost. I.e., where your blocks are. So believe it or not, at Nam we like triggers too. When you get triggered, the block becomes active in your personal field of experience, and then you have the ability to work on it, if you so choose. Otherwise, it just remains hidden. It's like a black hole. Everything spins around it, but there's nothing there. You know, we're spinning around the earth or the sun, but can you see any lines holding you? Can you see any ropes tethering us to the sun? You can't see it, because gravity is invisible. Gravity desdenium. But it's there. How do you know it's there? How do we know gravity exists? Yeah, something's tethering something, right? I don't see no rope, but clearly this is being pulled, not once but consistently. So then, the conclusion is that there's something there. So we call that gravity. And just like that, you have something pulling you towards dysfunctional patterns of being, something pulling you away from your goals. That invisible force we call a block. And unless you discover that, you will continue to struggle. And so Nam Academy, these online videos, lots of content. We talk about grief, we talk about drama webs, we talk about husband-wife relationships, we talk about all sorts of stuff that no one ever talks about. And the reason we talk about it is to trigger it. Because if you've been doing something wrong for 30 years and someone comes along and tells you you're doing it wrong, you should be triggered. You should be bugged. It shouldn't feel great. I meet people like that. It's like, yeah, doc. But no one's really happy. And those people are not understanding. And their recovery journey gets longer. If it's fake. If it's real, then yeah, they do really well. You want to get to that point. If someone tells me about my blocks, I'm like, yeah. That's why you say thank you for feedback. Even if the other person's messed up, even if it's your mom who triggers the heck out of you, but sometimes she's probably right. Right? Maybe not always, but sometimes probably right. And even if she doesn't do things great all the time, you have to be able to take the good and leave the bad. And so when it comes to learning about recovery, learning about your blocks, learning to heal your blocks, you're going to come across things that irritate you, like the word prayer. We talk a fair amount of prayer here, or intention setting. A lot of people get triggered by that. I say, great, let's work on that. Because whoever's triggering you, whatever block that was, the same people who created that block created many other blocks, and you still want them to control your life, take away your free choice. You see, triggers constrain your life. They make you live in a contorted, awkward posture where you walk like this and you think you're fine. I'm fine. Don't move me, don't touch me, I'm good. Because this hurts, that hurts, everything hurts. So this is the only position that hurts the less. But if I keep this up, I'm going to have arthritis on my right side because I'm loading it. Right? And if I keep it going, I'm going to have nerve impingement. I'm going to lose feeling in my legs if I keep it up. Triggers make us live in a very constricted way. Any attempt to take someone out of this position, like let's say you're a massage therapist, you're going to cause pain no matter what. That's just how it is. Now you can make it last, put some heat on, give it a go gentle, but at some point you're going to cause a bit of pain. That's why they say no pain, no gain. Recovery is like that. No pain, no gain. No trigger, no block. Especially early on in recovery. As you increase your capacity to meditate and connect with yourself at a deep level and gain insight, then the triggers become less and random ideas come to you. Yeah, maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe this. But initially in early recovery, it's just all triggers. And so the job of a person in early recovery, or who's fresh on the journey, I'm talking addiction, mental health, we don't differentiate, right? It's all the blocks that characterize. So people aren't that different. That's one of the triggering things I say. What do you mean everybody's unique? Actually, no. We are all based on the same principles of bio, psychosocial, spiritual, mind, body, soul sort of system that's governed by the same principles. But what's different is actually our blocks. We all have very different blocks that keep us in different places, different situations. So some person they love breathing. Someone else hates breathing. Well, great for the person who loves breathing. Make sure they're not dissociating. A lot of people dissociate when they breathe. And they love breathing because they love dissociating. So embodied breathing. And if the person hates breathing, then they need to work on breathing. Breathing's still the answer. You got to learn to breathe. Without breath, there's no recovery. So when you go through these Nam Academy videos, I just want you to think about when you get triggered, you should ask yourself, why is that? Pause the video, contemplate it. Don't watch the video in one go if it's not possible. Speed it up. I talk slow. I talk slow for a reason. These concepts are heavy. And so it's my rhythm, but if you want to speed them up, watch them a few times. And the more you work with these things, and anything like it, it's not just Nam Academy. If you go watch Sadhguru, or if you go to, like any kind of like yogic thing or Eastern medicine thing where they're talking about philosophies and stuff, you just got to keep doing it again and again and again, and you'll get more and more and more. So long as you adopt a block-based healing approach, and you become like a treasure hunter. You're watching these videos, you're looking for treasures, little bits, maps pointing you in the right direction. Then you will do very well in recovery. Very well indeed. So that's a short video on how to use Nam Academy. There's many tools, techniques, various ways. Once you discover a block, what do you do with it? Watch some of the skills-based videos. Breathe through it. Pray, meditate, intention setting, tapping. There's a million ways. By neutralizing the trigger while your attention is on the block and getting calm, your system will oftentimes resolve the block. The faster you get at that, because, hey, there's blocks, and then there's chief blocks, right? It's like a pyramid scheme, you know? You got like your chief, your commando blocks, right? And then you got like their managers, and then you got their, you know, front line blocks, and you got their, you know, it's like hierarchies of blocks. If you focus on all these blocks down here, remember each block's going to take you 20 minutes, an hour. You can focus on all these like little blocks here. Spend a lot of time. How come my girlfriend won't love me? How come people just don't like me? I want counseling to help me be a more accepted friend, or this or that. Good, those are good. You have to understand those are low-level blocks. Current day situations are low-level blocks always. But they offer a clue to where the chief block is, which might be I don't belong. And I don't belong creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where no matter where you are, you don't belong nowhere. You don't feel like you belong. And then you people please and you overcompensate for this or that, and then you make a mess of it. Right? So clingy behavior today, which is causing stress and relapse and addiction and all, unhappiness, is actually not the issue. That's not the thing to take therapy for. But you can spend a lot of time in therapy for that. At NOM, we deal with treatment-resistant things. I prefer to focus on chief blocks. So you'll notice we're doing NOM Academy right now on step work. Step 1, 2, 3. We're going to go through all the steps. Why? Because in Alcoholics Anonymous, they discovered a series of chief blocks. I must be in control. God thing, right? Like, there's chief blocks, and then there's all the junior millions, billions of little blocks, and they all take the same amount of time to go after. And so, if we focus our attention here, we can make progress quickly. You resolve this, these things dissolve away. You resolve this, these things just produce them again in a different scenario. And that's usually what happens. They get spawned. StarCraft? I don't know. Spawned, yeah. I just totally dated myself there, but StarCraft still going? People? Huh? Yeah, it's still going. Okay, maybe I didn't date myself. But so NOM Academy is a way for you to identify chief blocks, and that's why we talk a lot about trauma, neglect, and all these things, because day-to-day things are important. Don't get me wrong, important. You need groups, you need things, you need systems, that's why we connect to other people, right? But never forget the chief blocks that keep spawning these situations. And if you ever discover one of these, that's a treasure. And if someone points you to that, you're going to hate their guts probably, but that person is to be treasured too. Because this just saved you like $1 million of therapy, of time, of energy, So, I have 19 minutes, that's pretty good. I think we'll leave it at that. So, any questions or comments about how to use NOM Academy videos? Does that help understand how to use them? Because they're triggering for a reason. So then we need you to calm yourself down. Pause the video. Take a break. Like any good group, right? Don't if you're triggered up to a 10, don't just sit there. Like, that's silly. If you're dissociated out, pause the video, go out, go do something, tap or something, and bring yourself back. And then an hour later, a day later, a week later, come back to it. Don't rob yourself of learning. Because there's not enough therapists in the world for everybody, right? There's just not enough therapists in the world. You got to be your own therapist. And then you go to the therapist for your chief block that you just can't get. Because that's going to happen. You're just not going to get it. And then someone's going to be like, obviously it's this. And you'll be like, Yeah. You need other people. You need wise people. You need these things so that you can discover these blocks. Without that, but you can't go to them every time. You got to do your own work. You got to develop a system for discovering and then dissolving blocks. Prayer is a powerful system for that. But you got to build prayer. You got to actually build that. You got to earn that. And you can through a daily practice. And then occasionally you need help. Nam Academy is really meant to give you more awareness of these so that you can seek the right kind of help if you need it. Maybe you got it. Great. If you don't, go find a therapist. Come to Nam. Go somewhere else. Say, hey, I want to work on this. You go to a psychologist, say, I want to work on my feeling of not belonging. They're going to give you a different service than, hey, I keep on getting into relationship things. You're more likely to get a service that's going to be deep and impactful and meaningful if you ask the right question. A lot of times we go to therapists, we expect them to read our mind. But their brain's no bigger than yours. And they're not in you, so they don't know you. So we've got to do our own work, and then we've got to avail ourselves of what else is out there. That's block-based healing. And in other videos, trigger-based healing and other things, we talk lots about this, so please consult with those videos. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much.